get going? Yeah? Okay. Welcome to class today. Those of you at home, those of you here in person. And today we're going to work on a practice that helps us kind of consolidate our energies when we feel like we're being pulled in a million directions. We got lots going on, and there's this going on, and this going on, and then all of a sudden we feel very scattered and maybe a little depleted. So it's like kind of bringing that energy back to ourselves. So we're going to come down on the belly to start out in this pose we call the crocodile pose. So you'll just stack up your palms and put your head down. I'm going to stay up so I can continue to talk, but you guys can go ahead and come down. And Pat, if anything doesn't feel right for you, feel free to, you can go on your back if you want, if you can't be on your belly.
No.
Okay. All right, so in this position where we're face down, it's a good way to kind of ground ourselves and help ourselves settle in. And come into your breathing. Breathe into your lower abdominal region. And when you're on the ground here, the ground acts as a little boundary. So you might be able to feel your belly press into the ground as you breathe in and breathe out. And you might be able to bring some of that breath into your lower back. And then just thinking about, if you've been feeling scattered, if you have a lot of things going on, how does that make you feel? Sometimes we feel a little ungrounded. And this time to kind of reconnect to yourself. So yoga helps us to reconnect to ourselves so that we can also kind of re-engage with the world if we feel like maybe we've been withdrawing. Sometimes when we have a lot going on, we might want to just kind of curl up into a little ball and shut the world out. Or sometimes we disconnect from ourselves with numbing behaviors. Right? So we might, sit and watch TV for a few hours rather than engage with the world or do something for ourselves. We might take care of other people and not focus on ourselves intentionally, you might even not consciously realize it. So that's a way that we dissociate from ourselves by focusing on other people, numbing out, things that cause us to check out of our own bodies. So yoga brings us back to focus on the body when maybe we've been really up in our heads or checked out. All right, so I'm going to take 3 more breaths here. And as you do, start to feel sensations in your body, become aware of them. So we start to really notice what's going on internally. Okay, now from here, we're going to go ahead and prop ourselves up on our forearms. And this is called Sphinx posture, where we're on our forearms. Our elbows line up with our shoulders, and our wrists line up with the elbows, and we're going to lift the chest. Now, sometimes it's helpful here to press your tailbone down into the ground. That might help your lower back. And if it's too much, you can stay down, Pat. And then from here, we're going to turn our head over our right shoulder, give a little stretch to the neck. And then back to center, and look over your other shoulder. And let's do that one more time on each side. Turn your head, look over your shoulder. Back through center and look over your other shoulder. Very good. Okay, come back down. Give yourself a little rest. Give your hips a little shimmy side to side. Shake it out. All right, from here, just go ahead and keep your arms down and lift your head up without lifting your chin. So keep your gaze down, your chin is tucked in, you're lifting the back of your head, and this helps strengthen our upper back. And then we'll lower the head, bring it back down. And let's do 2 more. Lift the back of the head. And back down. One more time. Lift the back of the head. And come down. those hips a little wiggle again. And then we're going to slide our hands back and press up into all fours. Okay, so on all fours, we're going to do cat-cow. So it's an inhale, arch your back, looking up. And then exhale, rounding your spine, draw your tailbone down, head down, and then continue. Inhale, arch your back, look up. Exhale, rounding your spine. So we're going to do 3 more cycles. Going nice and slow. Try not to check out. Try not to get distracted. One more time. Okay, come back to neutral. Take your knees a little wider. Move back to child's pose. Hips towards your heels. Let your hands come under your forehead. Just rest down for a moment. Right, we're going to come into a seated position from here. It's a little different. So you might want to sit up onto a folded blanket so you can have a little bit higher perch for your sit bones. Okay. Pull your shoulders back a few times. Lengthen up through the crown of your head. And then we're going to bring our fingertips alongside us to the ground. So we'll do what's called a grounding breath. So we're going to inhale, turn the palms up, reach the arms up and overhead. And then draw your hands down through the center. And we're going to repeat that. Inhale up. Exhale down through your center. Okay? So a couple more rounds, and imagine you're just bringing all those scattered pieces of your energy back in. So if you feel like you've been pulled in a million directions, bring all that energy back to yourself. We're consolidating the energy. 2 more rounds like this. Inhale up. Exhale slow. 1 more time. Good. Now we're going to keep our hands kind of about this area of your navel, your solar plexus, and we're going to inhale, palms reach up, exhale down. So we'll do that a few times, kind of like Qigong or something like that. It's a little energy balancing exercise, up and down. You might close your eyes and just kind of go inward, just feel like you're balancing out where you might be overexerting, balancing your energy. 1 more. Good. And then let your hands rest down for a moment. Lift up nice and tall. Good. And then we're going to inhale, reach the arms out nice and wide, and you're going to give yourself a big hug. Put your right arm on the top and try to grab your shoulder blades behind you. That's it. And you're going to see if you can pull the shoulder blades apart as you lift your chest and send your breath right in between your shoulder blades. So as you inhale, you might feel those shoulder blades move apart a little bit. Now we're going to add a twist. So we're going to take the elbows to the right and look over your left shoulder. And then go side to side. Elbows go one way, and you're going to look over your shoulder and do that a few more times. Giving yourself a big hug, or also getting some mobility in our thoracic spine, where we're often very stiff. And getting some shoulder blade mobility. If you can't sit like this, you can always extend your legs back to the center. Now stay here, inhale. And as you exhale, start to hinge forward. And see if you can, like gravity, pull those shoulder blades apart, tuck in your chin a bit. And now breathe into your upper back. One more. Okay, slowly start to come up. Release your arms and roll your shoulders out a few times. Very good. Okay, we're going to repeat that with the opposite arm on top. So inhale the arms out wide. And then we're going to take that left arm on top. Give yourself a big hug. Pull the shoulder blades apart. Lift your chest. And then begin your twist. So elbows one way. Look over your shoulder. And twist side to side a few more rounds. Stay nice and tall through your spine as you go side to side. One more on each side. And then we're coming back to the center. Stay with it. Take an inhale. Exhale. Fold forward. And like gravity, pull those shoulder blades apart. Breathe into your upper back. Right, slowly start to come up, unwind your arms, and then just give your shoulders another little roll. Very good. Okay, so from here we're going to come off of our blanket and come on up into a standing position. So you can take your blanket off your mat. And we'll come up to stand. Hopefully I'm still in the frame over there, I can't tell. And we'll come into mountain pose.
So glad it's just showing you and not us getting up.
Take your time. All right. So go ahead, stand up nice and tall. Draw your shoulders back. Draw your low belly up. Draw your tailbone down. And stand for a moment, pressing your feet down. Lift up through the top of your head. And then let's inhale, reach the arms all the way up. Exhale, bend the knees, fold over your legs. Inhale to a halfway lift, hands up on your thighs. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, reach all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. Okay, we're going to go through a couple more rounds. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift. Exhale, folding in. Inhale all the way up. Exhale to your heart. One more time. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift. Exhale. Inhale all the way up. And exhale to your heart. Okay, step your feet apart a little wider so you have some stability. And we're going to do this shoulder hug thing a couple times today. Reach your arms out wide. And then right arm on top, give that shoulder hug. And then pull the shoulder blades apart. Do the twist now standing, looking over the shoulder. Go side to side. One more time. Good. Back to the center. Step your feet in. Keep the arms where they are. Stand on your right leg. Bring your left heel up. Coming into tree hugger pose. So we're going to hug ourselves while we're in our tree pose, balancing. Breathe between your shoulder blades and your upper back. One more breath. Good. Slowly release. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold forward over your legs. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up. Exhale to your heart. We'll do that on the other side. Inhale, arms out wide. We're taking the left arm on top, shoulder hug, and widen your feet a little bit for this first part. Go ahead, take your twist side to side. Looking over your shoulder. And then we're coming back to the center. Step your feet back in. Good. This time standing on your left leg. Bring your right heel up. Balance in your tree pose with your toes on the floor. Nice steady gaze. Look straight ahead. Breathe into your upper back. One more breath. Good. And then release your foot down. Release your arms. Inhale. Reach up. Exhale. Fold forward. Halfway lift. Inhale. Exhale. Fold. Inhale all the way up. Reach up. And hands to heart. Very good. Okay, right. Grab your 2 blocks. And you're going to put them at the top of your mat. So I'm going to be facing over this way. Okay. Start in mountain pose with your hands on your hips. And we're going to step the right foot back and the left foot forward. So we come into warrior 1 pose. Okay, pause here, straighten your front leg for a moment. And really get your back thigh to draw back. Press into your back heel, lift the front of your belly up, and your tailbone draws down. Now see if you can keep that. You might even put one hand in the front, one hand in the back. Front hand draws up, back hand draws down, then rebend into your front knee. So we try not to tip the pelvis a lot here, which will stress our lower back. All right, once you have that, hands at your heart, press your palms together, press down into your feet. Let's take the arms out wide. Inhale, and you guessed it. We're going to take the left arm on top for that shoulder hug. And then breathe here into the back of your heart. One more breath. All right, slowly release your arms, reach up. And then draw your hands to your heart. From here, lean forward, bring your hands down onto your blocks. Step your back foot in a little bit. And then you can either have that heel down or you could be on the ball of your foot, whatever feels best for you. And both legs are now going to be straight. Hug your hips in towards center like you're going to squeeze something between your inner thighs. Inhale, reach your chest forward. Stay here for the exhale. Now, you can stay here if you like, or you can start to fold over your front leg. Keep a little bend in that knee. You might lower your blocks down, or you might bring your hands to the floor if you have long arms, easy to reach the floor. You might not need the blocks. If it feels better to stay up, stay up. Now, if you come into the fold, see if you can get your belly on your front thigh, let your chin tuck in, maybe your head comes down for a moment. Squeeze those inner thighs towards each other again. And push your front foot a little forward, which will draw your hips back. One more breath. Good, now from here, go ahead, come back up on your blocks if you lowered them. Bend into your front knee, step forward, and fold over your legs. Inhale, let's reach the arms all the way up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Okay, hands to your hips, step your left foot back, coming into warrior 1 position. And let's go ahead and straighten the front leg for a moment. Get that back leg nice and strong. Press your heel into the ground and then lift the front of your abdomen up. Keep your tailbone drawing down as you rebend into your front knee. Good. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Good. Coming into our hugging pose. Inhale, reach out wide. And we're going to take the left arm on top. Give yourself that big hug. Breathe into your upper back. Nice gaze forward. slowly release. Inhale, reach up. And then hands come down to your blocks. Step that back foot in a little bit. And now both legs are straight. Squeeze those inner thighs together. Push your front foot forward. Inhale, lift your chest. Stay here for the exhale. And then you can either stay here or you could fold over your leg. And then maybe you'll lower those blocks down. Stay up high if that feels better in your body. Belly might come toward the thigh. You might tuck your chin in a little bit. Once again, squeeze the inner legs together. Last breath. All right, come back up on your blocks. Bend into your front knees, step forward. Inhale, let's come all the way up. And exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Very good. Okay, inhale, reach your arms up. Bend your knees, come into chair pose. We want to make sure our weight's back in our heels. And we're going to start to bring our hands down onto our thighs. See if you can bring your belly towards your thighs. And then maybe you're going to wrap your arms around the backs of your legs. Another way, we just give ourselves a big hug here. If that's too much, keep your hands on your thighs. We're going to hold it there, another breath. And then release, inhale, reach the arms all the way up. Exhale to your heart. Okay, we're going to repeat that again. You can stay with the bent knees or you could try to straighten your legs a little bit. So let's inhale, reach up. Bend the knees, chair pose, weight goes back in your heels. Wrap your arms around the backs of your legs. You could stay here or start to straighten your legs. Lift your sit bones up. Good, release, bend your knees. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. Very good. Step your feet apart, turn your toes out a little bit. Bring your hands on your hips. All right, so Kathy says what's one of the 70 or 80 things to do, which one is it? Is squatting.
In your you're in your 70s.
In your 70s, you should be squatting. It's good for us. So we're going to do some squatting today. She said you guys would be up for it. So we're going to bend our knees, come down into a squat. Good, and then press into the heels and come up. So let's do that a few more times. Bend the knees, lower down, and come up. So squatting is good for our knees, for our hips, for our lower backs. Now if you want, you can bring hands to heart. That feels stable enough. Good, and then we might reach the arms up on the inhale, and then exhale back down. Good, let's do 2 more rounds. Good, now we're going to stay down there. See if we can take a couple of breaths. Press into your heels, lift your chest, shoulders back. Inhale, exhale, 1 more. Always take a break if you need to.
You're perfect.
Very good. Come all the way up and release your arms. Very good. Step it back in, shake it out. Okay, now we're going to try and go a little bit deeper into our squat. So we're going to try to sit on our 2 blocks. If you don't have blocks at home, you can do this on a chair. So if you don't want to go into a deep squat, I'm going to get a chair for you. Anybody want to do a chair? I'm going to show it to you. So we're going to take our 2 blocks and stack them up. And we're going to see if we can sit on those 2 blocks. Otherwise, you sit in a chair. Yep. And if the blocks are too low, Kathy put a blanket on top. So you could put a blanket on top and bring it up even higher. And then we're going to walk those feet apart. So now we're in another squat position. Good. Press down into your feet, lift your chest up, and let's bring our hands in front of our heart. Good. All right, hold it here, drawing those shoulders back. Now if you want to go further, you can start to come forward and you bring your legs and your elbows together. You might need to walk your feet in. And then you're going to press your elbows into your legs and your legs into your elbows.
You want the feet front?
Yeah, they could be turned out a little bit or front. That's okay, either way. And then you're pressing legs and arms into each other and lifting your chest. One more breath. Good, now you could stay here or come down. See if you could bring your hands to the floor. Then you might let your head come down. If that's too much, stay up in this position with your hands together in front of your heart. Send your breath into your lower back, into your hips. Okay, now come back up for a moment. Walk those legs back in. Take a little break. Sit up tall. Roll your shoulders out. We're going to come back into it and add a twist. All right, so go ahead, take those feet apart again. Lengthen up nice and tall. We're going to bring the right hand down as close as you can towards your ankle or your shin. Other hand on your thigh and turn and twist to the opposite side, to the left. And if you want, take the left arm and reach it up if that doesn't bother your shoulder. You can stay there or take that hand and wrap it behind your lower back. And then press your hand so your palm faces out. Press your palm into your lower back to turn. Good. Very carefully and slowly come back to the center. Good. And now let's try that on the other side. Reach down, hold on to the leg, hand on the thigh, turn and twist. And you could stay right there or take your arm up for a moment. And then you might take that right hand and wrap it behind your back. And then press your palm into your lower back and turn. Always be gentle on yourself. One more breath. Good. Slowly return back to the center. Sit up tall. And then one more time, coming into the prayer position. That's it. Press the legs and the arms into each other. Lift your chest. All right, go ahead and slowly walk it in. Okay, here's the hard part. We're going to have to stand back up now. So press down into your feet and stand up. Nice. If you need help, let me know. Got it, Pat?
No, I don't.
Here, let me get a chair. You got it? Okay, you're okay.
No,
All right. All right, so then take those blocks off to the side. Stand up with your feet about outer hip distance apart. And just take a little swing.
There's no way.
Need help?
That's me.
You
I
need a
can't
chair? There
Use
you
a
go.
leg.
You got it. Use those legs. You got it. Swing it out a little bit. All right. Let's inhale. Reach the arms up. Your feet could be outer hips distance. Interlace your palms. Press up. And let's side bend over to one side. Good. Inhale up. Side bend. Good. One more time on each side. Inhale up. Side bend. Good. Inhale up. Last time. Side bend. Good. Inhale. Reach up. Exhale. Last time to fold forward. You could hold on to opposite elbows if you like here, or you can hold your feet. Bend the knees a lot here so that your lower back feels nice and free. And maybe you'll take a little sway side to side. Switch your arms. And then bring your hands onto your hips, bend your knees. And we're going to come all the way back up. Roll your shoulders out. Good. Okay. Inhale, reach your arms up. And then we're going to do that grounding breath standing. Lower down. Good. Let's do that a few more times. Inhale up. Exhale. Draw down. Good. 3 more times. Last one. Step your feet back together. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold, and you're going to step back to tabletop position and come into child's pose. So if you don't like child's pose, you can come on your belly for that crocodile again. If you need a blanket under your knees, grab it. And just let your hips rock a little side to side. All right, go ahead and come on up into a seated pose. And you might want to sit on a pillow if you have one at home. Here we're going to sit on our yoga blankets. And we're going to keep our 2 blocks nearby. If you don't have blocks at home, you can use 2 pillows off your sofa or 2 bed pillows. Always have things like that handy for a yoga practice. Okay. We're going to take our feet together into like a bound angle, but we're going to slide them more forward. And then rock side to side. You want to make sure your sit bones are not tucked under you. You want them pulled apart and a little to the back. It'll help you fold. Then we're going to stick the blocks under the knees. I like to kind of put the corners in. That feels more comfortable, but however it works for you. Okay, inhale, lift up nice and tall. As you exhale, slide forward any amount. See what feels right for you. Okay, now inhale, lift up. Exhale, fold in. Let's do 2 more rounds. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, fold in. 1 more time. Good. Now we're going to stay in that fold. Again, kind of drawing back inward in toward ourselves. See if you can notice your breath. Notice what sensations you're feeling in your body. And try not to force anything. So we want to go easy on ourselves. We don't want to hurt anything. So be where you're most comfortable. Maybe that's upright and not even folding forward. Feel like you're kind of drawing into a little shell here. But don't check out. Don't think about what you're going to do later. Sometimes we are in a yoga pose, and if it's uncomfortable, we check out. So yoga teaches us how to manage difficult situations in our lives by encouraging us to stay with sensation, stay in the moment, stay present. Last breath. And then very slowly start to come up. Bring your knees up, take your legs out, and we're going to just bounce the legs out a bit. Okay. We're going to come back into this position. Now bring the feet in closer. Again, you might want to have some props there. Rock those sit bones apart and a little to the back. You can certainly stay right here, just working the pose here. Or if you like, you're going to start to come forward again. So now it's a little tighter into those hips. Good. Staying for a few breaths. Bring your breath into your low belly, your lower back. And if you feel like very congested here, just stay up taller. Always have options. Okay, slowly start to come up. Use your hands, take your legs out, another little bounce. I'm gonna grab a quick drink, guys, sorry. then if you would feel more comfortable, you could sit up on your block. If you're okay, staying here on your blanket. And then try to lift up nice and tall. Pull on your shins a little bit to help you lift your chest. Maybe walk your feet out a little bit more. Good. And then take your right hand down, hold on to your shin or your ankle, and turn to your left. Maybe take that left arm, reach it up.
Right hand down.
Yep, that's it. The other arm. Yep. You could do either way. It doesn't matter. Go your own way. Okay, let's do the other side. Hand down. Twist. Stay there or reach the arm up, depending on your shoulder here. Good. And then we come back to center. Now hold on your shins or your ankles. Pull up and lift your chest. So this is a variation of what's called turtle pose. So turtle pose, turtle goes into its shell, right? So we could stay here or we could go into our shell and fold in a little bit. You might put your hands behind your legs a little bit. If that's too much, keep them here. Always listen to your body. So again, this opens up our hips. Very healthy for knees and lower back to have nice fluid hips. Okay, slowly come up. Let's stretch those legs out to a wide straddle position now. All right, just take a twist over to your right. Sit up tall. We'll take about 3 breaths here. Good. Inhale to center and twist to your other side. Good. Inhale, back to center. Now we're going to fold through the center, and here's some options for you, depending on how far away you are from the ground. You could stack up some blocks and put it under your forehead. So you can go as high as you need to go here. Okay? And if that's still not high enough, then you don't worry about the head. Okay? So if it feels right, you can put your head on some support. And then you might even roll your head side to side. I know me with all this heavy rain weather, my forehead's been feeling a little congested, so this feels nice to roll your head a little side to side, a little massage it out. Yeah. And then come back to stillness. As you stay here for about 3 more breaths, can you just bring your awareness back to the present moment, back to your breathing, back to what you're feeling in your body. Try not to check out. And when you're ready, very, very slowly starting to bring yourself back up to the vertical. Very good. And then bring those legs back in. Okay, set your blocks off to the side. Keep one within reach. We're going to come onto our backs and we'll be coming into supported bridge pose. So I'm going to face away from this way. And you're going to take your one block and stick it underneath your lower back. So again, if you don't have blocks at home, you could use a big pillow. So see how it goes. And we're going to stay right there for a couple breaths. Okay? So you come on your... So you want to come down first, be without the block. Take the block out.
Yes.
Then come down. Then you lift up. So it's easier if you come down first. Otherwise, you feel very unstable coming down. No. Lay down first.
Okay.
Okay, good. Now, take your block in one hand. Lift your hip. There you go. That's it. Much easier, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, just let your sacrum get heavy onto that block. we're going to bring our arms into the robot position. So palms are going to face each other, elbows are on the ground, tuck your shoulders in, lift your chest. So we did all this hugging in action, reconnecting to ourselves. Now in a bridge pose, we're more open through our chest. So now we can open ourselves up after all that reconnection. So press down into your arms, walk your shoulders in a little bit, lift your chest. You could stay here or press into your feet and lift your hips up off the block coming into active bridge. If that's too much, you're going to keep your hips down. Just do supported bridge. Feel like you're lifting your tailbone up. Use your legs, press down through your feet, and then come back down onto the block and rest. We're going to do that one more time. Robot arms, palms face each other, tuck your shoulders in. Either stay there, pressing into your arms, lifting your chest, or lift your hips up. Lift your tailbone up. Press into your feet. And then go ahead and come back down. Let your shoulders widen again. And now we're going to bring the knees up and in toward the chest. And as you bring your knees in toward your chest, you'll get a little stretch into your lower back. You could stay like that or start to straighten your legs. So the legs go up. So you're either right on the block or you can bring your legs a little closer toward your chest for more of a hamstring stretch. And then just hold there for a breath or two. You could put your hands on your legs for a little support if you like. You might even let your legs start to fall toward your chest a little more if you want more stretch. Okay, and now hug those knees back in and set your feet back down on the ground, back to your supported bridge. Okay, lift your hips, slide your block out. Set your block to the side. At this point, if you want, you can put a blanket underneath your head. I'm going to face, it's hard to know which way to face, but I'm going to face this way now. Okay, blanket under your head, and we're going to take the arms out to a T. Remember the bear hug. Wrap your right arm over your left arm, give yourself a big hug. Pull your shoulder blades and then draw your elbows to the left, look to your right, just like we did seated and standing. Rock side to side. Feel like you're turning your rib cage. You try to lift that shoulder off the ground. So you pull with your hand. One more time each side. Okay, back to the center. Pause. And then switch your arms. Put the opposite arm on the top. Give yourself a big hug. And then rock side to side, looking under your shoulder. And just feel like you're massaging your upper back against the floor. Last round. All right. Unwind your arms, let your arms come out to a T. Take your feet as wide as your mat and windshield wiper your knees from side to side, looking over your opposite shoulder as you go side to side. Come back to the center. And then one more time, give yourself a hug. Bring your knees into your chest this time. Then rock a little bit on your lower back.
But not too far.
Not too far, don't roll over. You could stay here or take your feet up into happy baby pose. Maybe I should come down and show that one real quick. So you can either hold behind your legs, hold your ankles, hold your feet. I wore the wrong pants. I didn't know I was getting filmed today. So I have very wide leg pants on today. All right, hug back in. And then we're coming into our relaxation pose. Final relaxation, Shavasana. So feel free to cover up. I had her turn the heat up, but it's still a little chilly in here. Or maybe put your blanket under your knees if you want. You're at home, you can use all kinds of blankets to cover up if you're cold. And we'll come to rest. So sometimes when we're in Shavasana, Pat, do you want me to pull that under your knees more for you?
It's okay here.
You want it there?
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes for Shavasana, we're face up, we're very open. So I know for me, sometimes to sleep like this, I don't feel comfortable. It's just, I like to curl up in a ball. So notice how it feels to just let yourself be really open after all that hugging in action that we did. Reconnected to the self through poses where we kind of consolidate inward. And then we opened up with the bridge pose. And now we're open up in our Shavasana. Let your back body drop into the ground, soft belly breath. And if you still feel like being open like this is uncomfortable, sometimes it feels nice to put something over your hips and your pelvis. Feel free to do so if you like. And we're going to take a couple more minutes to kind of have a nice, restful pose. Like we talked about last week with our Drishti class, try not to get real active in the mind. Can you rest your mind with your body in Shavasana? And then when thoughts start to creep in,
unknown caller,
bringing yourself back to your breath, back to noticing your body. Try not to check out even in your Shavasana. Not the time to come back to our to-do list or what happened earlier, what happens later. Still time to be present or rest in a very open awareness. Let your mind be open and spacious. start to return now back to present moment. Deepen your breath. Move just a little bit at a time. Start to reawaken. And eventually you can come over onto your side before coming up to sit. We're going to sit for a moment, so feel free to be up on your blanket. Sit however you're comfortable. You don't have to sit how I am. Okay. So we're going to bring our palms together, and we're going to bring our thumbs right in the center of the eyebrows. This is an acupressure point on the bladder meridian, and it relates to things like nervousness and fear and anxiety. It's an acupressure point also good for things like our headache and congestion, a little pressure there. Take 4 slow breaths. Let's see if you can stay present for those 4 breaths. Breathe in your belly, in and out through your nose if you can. After your next exhalation, slowly release the points. Let your hands come down, but keep your awareness there for a few more breaths. Eyes could be closed if you're comfortable. Let your hands rest down if you like. And I'll share one little final reading. This is called Time to Pick Up the Pieces by Susan Freibert. It takes time to pick up the pieces. It takes time to return to the scene while your body and its systems recall there's no real story to explain what happened. Did you know early trauma is birthed without language to describe its existence, offering no organizational process to bring together a cohesive narrative? It takes love to pick up the pieces, to go back into the cold caverns of a pre-verbal experience like neglect or abandonment, to pick up the pieces of vacancy and mistrust and embrace them with warmth and connection. It takes care to pick up the pieces, to integrate the steps and land inside your body more and more. And as you pick up the pieces and put it all together deep inside. Let's place our hands in front of the heart space now. Take an inhale. Exhale, bowing down into your heart. Namaste.
Namaste.